I have to go out in a second. Just give me 1 second.
That's what happens.
Okay.
At this time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for 7 p.m. Tuesday, March the 2nd of 2021 in the city council chambers, 201 East Nash Street, Terrell, Texas. In chambers, we have District 3, Mayor Rodney Velasquez, District 4, Charles Whitaker, District 5, Tim Royce, and we have remote District 2, Grady Simpson. As always, we begin our council meetings with our mask on in observance of the CDC guidelines, but because we have petitions, if you would like to remove your mask, one of the council members, please do so. As long as you're social distancing within the council chambers, you may remove them as well. If not, please keep those masks on. It is noted that next Wednesday, we're going to go to 100%, and some of the mask restrictions will be lifted. However, I believe that the council will continue to do face masks. We'll talk about that at some point in the future. This time, I would ask that Charles Whitaker, District 4, please lead us in invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day, and thank you for letting us serve the good citizens of Terrell, and thank you for letting us be free citizens and help us to do what's fair for everyone concerned, Father. All of us we pray and ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Our next item on the agenda is mayor and council community recognitions and events. I don't believe we have any, but earlier we did have some recognitions. It was our water department and the outstanding job that they did in keeping water moving and flowing throughout the city. They did an excellent job. Heard some stories of them going above and beyond what is normally expected of them. We certainly appreciate that and their efforts. Does anybody have anyone they would like to recognize?
Mayor, I would like to recognize our own staff, emergency coordinator, Kaufman County, TVCC, and all those volunteers that continue to work our COVID-19 vaccine hubs, since they've been extended hubs now. Would certainly encourage our community members that have not registered for the COVID-19 vaccine at our local hubs to register at kaufmancounty.net, and would advise them to wait for their appointment date and time prior to visiting the registration locations.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem of District 3. Is there anyone else? Mr. Whitaker?
We have a couple preachers in the audience, so I was just wondering if you know what's up.
Is that directed towards the mayor?
I don't want to get caught unaware.
It sounded like I needed some help over here.
I want you later, Judge.
All right. We always welcome and appreciate our citizens who take the time and effort to come to council and see what it is that we're doing on your behalf. And you're always welcome at City Hall as long as I'm the mayor. At this time, our next item on the agenda is to it's adoption of the minutes. It's to discuss and consider minutes from the special city council meeting and workshop on February 2nd of 2021 and the regular city council meeting on February the 2nd, 2021 and the special street and council meeting and workshop of February 9th of 2021. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the special city council meeting and workshop on February the 2nd, 2021, the regular city council meeting on February the 2nd, 2021, and the special city council meeting and workshop on February the 9th of 2021.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 3. That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Charles Whitaker, District 4. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Motion will carry. Next item on the agenda is to hear remarks from visitors. We have two. I have Rachel. Okay. So I have Thomas Brown. If you come forward, please.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, and council members and other city officials. My name is Thomas Brown. I reside at 515 College Mountain Road here in Terrell, Texas. I'm coming before you this evening to request that College Mountain Road be reconstructed. We've been dealing with the repairs year after year, decade after decade, and we'd just like to see that come to a permanent situation and solution.
So during the public comments, you have 3 minutes to address the council, but because of state law and what we're required to and can't do, we can't respond, but we're here to get those comments, and then we'll pass it on to staff to reach out to you, and we'll look at it at a later date.
But thank you very much, and at this time, I also like to thank the leaders here in Terrell for the great job they've done. I've liked the improvements that we had on 148. I definitely like the 2017 comprehensive plan. I think it's a good plan that take our city to the point that we need to be. It addressed some of the major issues in our city. So I'd like y'all to continue to do a good job and remember the reconstruction of College Mountain Road.
All right.
All right, thank you. And I'm just here for tomorrow's report.
Okay.
Mayor, council, city manager, I'm just here for tomorrow's report.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, so we did have another individual who wished to speak, but I think that's going to be under a public hearing, so you'll have an opportunity to speak at that point. Do we have anyone else? Okay. At this time, we will move on to item number 7. It's a public hearing, to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding an ornamental sign cap, street topper ST20-01 in honor of Patricia and Dean, to be placed on the existing City of Terrell street signs located on the northeast corner of South Rockwall Avenue and Hamilton Drive, and on the southeast corner of Hamilton Drive and Adams Drive. This is going to be Municipal Director Charles Fenner.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The item before you had gone through a public hearing at the December, started with the December P&Z. That's the process that we go through, and then they tabled the item. We moved it on to the January meeting, and it was approved with one dissenting member. We had it on the council agenda last week that during our snowstorm, and that was canceled, so we have it before you now. The request has been placed to put the ornamental sign cap on top of, for Patricia and Dean, to be placed on existing City of Terrell street signs, as you said, that South Rockwall and Hamilton, southeast corner. The applicant has submitted 49 signatures notarized, that they're required to submit 75%, as the resolution says, and that resolution is in your packet. They were mailed to the affected owners. One letter had been returned in favor of the request, and as you can see, there are several people here that spoke, that are here to speak probably, and there were several people that spoke in favor there at the P&Z. In your package, you'll also see that what the street topper will look like. It'll go straight on top of the street sign, and then there's also a cost for that street topper in the packet. Applicant has met all the requirements with the documents submitted. The next step was P&Z had to make a recommendation. They did. They passed it, and they made the recommendation on to the city council. And so it's before you tonight for approval.
Now, Charles, is the cost of the topper prepaid, or is that
It will be prepaid.
before we order it?
Yes, sir.
Well, I didn't know if they submitted the money
No, sir.
prior to, we might look at moving forward, is having them prepay that. And if it, for some reason it doesn't, we can refund the money. I just a thought. That way we could go ahead quickly with ordering the topper, and not have to wait for funds and then order.
Certainly. As you know, we're on a moratorium now, and we're going to be redoing this resolution. We would get it done pretty quick, I believe.
Okay.
So
No. Anybody have any questions? Again, it was a 1% vote.
1% vote, yes, sir.
Any question?
Because we're on a moratorium, does that mean
Moving after this one.
After this
The
one,
resolution y'all passed a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago specifically stated that any petition for a street topper that was already in process, as this one was not going to be impacted by that moratorium. So we had that language in the resolution you already passed.
Okay, thank you.
And to confirm what I heard, Charles, the application meets all the requirements as stated in the ordinance.
you were correct. All the complicated standards.
Very
And that's why I asked, and zoning and planning passed the ordinance in all in favor except one.
Yes, ma'am.
And was the dissenting vote, was that related to any of the stipulations in the application specifically?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Charles.
Yes, sir.
This time, this is a public hearing, so we need to open the public hearing, right? So at this time, we're going to open the public hearing. I do have a resident who would like to speak. This is Rachel Gardner, if you would please. Rachel Dean Gardner, if you'd come forward. And just give us your address and your comments.
My name is Rachel Dean Gardner. If you don't mind, I'll take this off.
Please do.
And please do so you can hear, right? I'm Rachel Dean Gardner, and I'm 2327 Mallory Lane, Lancaster, Texas, 75134. Okay?
Okay.
Was it any more questions that you had before I started? Okay. Okay. So, in regards to the street topper, this is our mom, Patricia and Dean, for those of you who probably don't know her or didn't know her. Okay? So, I know that I only have a minute, only 60 seconds in it. I know that. So, what Gandhi once said to us, and that was the best way to find yourself is to love yourself and lose yourself in the service of others. And I think I would have to say a beautiful mom did that. She found herself right here in Terrell, Texas, the place she called home, the place she loved. She had a passion for helping others and giving back to those here in her beloved community. How did she do it? I really don't know. It was simple, effortless, and seamless for such a stylish woman as she was. But I will have to say simply it had to be her life and how she lived it. Maybe it was the way she did voters registration for over 30 years of her life, encouraging and motivating others about the importance of exercising their rights to vote. Maybe it was the way she fed the elderly and the people in her community. Maybe it was the way she volunteered at Southwestern Christian College during the lectureship time, or when they called her to do numerous other things. Maybe it was the way she spearheaded the reopening of the gift shop at Terrell Community Hospital. I don't know. Maybe it was the way she would go and just sit with the elderly at the nursing home just so that they could have a friend to talk to. Maybe it was the way she did it at her church when people called upon her for many opportunities to do what she loved to do, and that was simply serving her community. I don't know, but the list goes on and on. Gandhi also said, the real journey to finding yourself starts with you. I would have to say, she did that. A beautiful, loving, and amazing mom found herself. And you may ask me, where did she find herself? Right here in Terrell, Texas. Maybe it was through my brother. Maybe it was through my sister that couldn't be here. Maybe it was through her grandchildren and her son-in-law and her daughter-in-laws. Maybe it was through one of you. Maybe it was just me, but most of all, maybe it was just simply through her community. But I must say, she was once quoted saying, the world don't owe her anything. She owes the world. Maybe it was simply because of how she loved her community, and she loved and did it well. That was her. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments.
Comment?
Is it,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yes,
Who's talking?
go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Maybe you just a chip off the old block.
So is there anyone else who would like to speak? Hearing none, we'll close this meeting, close this hearing. And now it's up for discussion. My thoughts on what we're about to do is it followed the process that was in place. It went through planning and zoning like it should have. We got a recommendation with only one dissent, so unanimously it went through. Well, no, not unanimously, it was by majority it went through. And so, and now it's before us. And it will be, ultimately be the council's decision on whether or not we move forward with the topper. So, does anybody have any questions of Mr. Fenner? No? Okay.
He looks nice over there.
So, we're done with the public hearing. Our next item on the agenda is discuss and consider recommendations for Planning and Zoning Board to approve the Patricia Dean Street Topper petition. Anybody have any comments?
Is that?
Hearing-
Yes, Mayor.
Yes.
This is City Councilmember Grady Simpson. I just want to just make a comment. I knew Patricia and Dean. I was raised up around her and her children. And a lot of times we don't see the beautiful intangibles of people's contribution. I actually had the opportunity to see that growing up. I've seen this being hold people accountable everywhere. I mean, I've seen times that I was in Walmart and she would hold me accountable to always do the right thing. And I think this is much deserved. I support it 100%. And I just wanted to thank the Dean family for coming out and expressing their thoughts. And I just want to know that, want you to know and your family know that my prayers and my love is with you.
Obviously, Ms. Dean was an outstanding individual, not only for her family, but for the community. We recognize that. We appreciate the Dean family for being with us, as Mr. Simpson said.
Mayor, I'll give you just a bit of housekeeping. The motion here would be in the form of accepting the recommendation from the P&Z.
That is correct.
So is there a
Are
motion?
you looking for a motion now?
I am ready for a motion.
Yes, sir. May I make a motion that we accept the top-up of Patricia and Dean as recommended by P&Z.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second from Charles Whitaker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you all very much for coming in. We probably got a boring council meeting. You're welcome to stay if you like. I'm sure they have school tomorrow, so thank you all.
Thank you all for being here.
The next item on the agenda is COVID-related business. The first item on the agenda is 8.1, discuss caseload update. Is that going to be
Mayor, Dustin Connor's on the line, and we'll give him just a moment to make his transition and go live here. As you know, we always have Dustin Connor and Shane LaCroix present for you when we're doing our emergency management updates. There is quite a bit of data that is...
Mark, I hate to interrupt, just a minute. Do we need to take a photo with the Dean family or not?
I think that's a great idea.
Hey, would you ask him to come back, please?
That would be great. Yeah.
Dustin and Shane, if you can hear me, we're going to pause for a moment to do a photograph that we wanted to get done with the street topper applicant.
Y'all want to do it?
By the way, Justin, if you're on the line, this is Greg Shumpert. Thank you for your help. Suzanne and I got our first COVID shot today, so thank you for your help on that.
Yes, sir.
What's happening? What's up, man? I'm good. We're gonna get a photo real quick. Is everybody? Yeah, Jonathan, yeah. He went to the north.
So it was fun, wasn't it though? I'm telling you, it's very hard. It's something we may need to look at sometime.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You're here in spirit, Grady, we know. You take your mask off for a second.
I can't even see you anyway, Johnny, because you're right back there. There you go.
All right. Good job. What do you have to say about it?
I never told you what I
I know we spoke about it, and then staff has spoken about it, and it's not, we spoke about it in between, so I think this is a good follow-up.
Are we on? Thank you.
We're still on.
Okay, continue. All right, I want to thank everybody for taking time out and getting that photo for us. Our next item on the agenda, again, is the caseload update. Dustin Connor, are you with us?
Hey, come in, Dustin.
He was.
He is.
Dustin, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. It's all yours.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good deal. It's good to be back with you. Sorry for my surroundings. We're having some technology issues at the Connor house tonight. Let's talk about caseload. So 1,637 new confirmed cases in the state. Those numbers are down, which is good. So we're in this kind of weird time coming out of the winter storm that we had, where we still have kind of this downturn of testing. If you look at the slides that Ben.
I can share my screen, yes.
Well, if you guys can see the first screen has
Yeah, there it is.
the yellow line that we've been following, and you see it's got a pretty good dip. It's got a pretty good dip about a week and a half ago, and that is when all of the testing sites were closed for more than a week. So we had a huge dip in numbers, and then they kind of started to make their resurgence. So, but if you look at where we are today and where we were a little over a week and a half ago, before we started to make the dive, you can see that we're still on this kind of downward trend. So, so that's kind of nice to see. If you want to go to the next slide. The next slide is,
Dustin, hold up.
is kind of the trend.
Hold up just a second.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin, we're double checking your presentation because the one we have loaded up here is the February 2nd one and not a March 2nd one.
Oh, nice. Well, I thought I looked up there and saw 11,000 cases up there, so.
I noticed that right off, of course.
While we're waiting, I want everybody to know Dustin's done a superior job about getting everybody vaccinated out of his side, because he's helped me and my wife, and we owe an appreciation to him for that, I'll tell you.
Good. It's good to know you're not contagious.
No anymore. Got my first shot today, thanks to
If
Dustin.
you, Don, I have all the stuff here if you have problems getting it up, if we need to do something different.
Dustin, what you might do is
Dustin, can you-
go ahead and go with the presentation.
Yeah, and Dustin, you can share your screen. She's going to set you up to do that in a moment.
I can't share my screen. I printed my slides off. That's my technology problem, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Dustin, just hit us with it verbally.
Okay, good deal. So the active cases in the county right now are 246. 55 of those are in the Terrell zip code. There are 23 that are in the city of Terrell. That's in 18 different addresses. And we have 2 that are in long-term care facilities, and those will both come off here pretty soon. The testing out at the municipal airport has been renewed for another month. So we'll be carrying that through March. They're already starting to talk about April. So we'll look at that. We've said that we're going to continue to be available to them for however long they need us to be available to them. I don't have the testing numbers from this last week, which is a little unusual. I usually get them, so I'm not really sure what that's about. So I'm sorry I don't have that data, but when I get it, I'll forward it on. But testing is still running as normal out there. The other big topic is the vaccine hub operation. So there are a little more than 32,000 people registered in the Kaufman County system. They come from, we have people from Bell County, Freestone County, Williamson County, a guy from Oklahoma. We've got people pretty much everywhere registered here. 20,541 of those people that are registered are from Kaufman County, and there are 7,700 residents from the city of Terrell that are registered. So the big push is to continue to go to kaufmancounty.net to get registered, and we are upping our doses every week. We started off with 500 that seemed like we weren't going to be able to pull it off the first week, and now we're doing about 4,000 in a week. 4,000 in the last 10-day period. Today was our first day out at the new drive-through site out at Trinity Valley. There's been a little bit of confusion about where to go, so the thing that I would impress on you guys and the public when you talk to them is look at the email that you got, and it tells you if you're going to the Health Science Center or if you're going to the I-20 campus. Now, something to know is that we're moving to the I-20 campus, so there won't be any new, there will be very few first doses that take place at the Health Science Center. We're trying to get out to the I-20 campus because we're going to just be able to increase our numbers. Just kind of for reference, we were able to do 1,000 doses in a week at the Health Science Center. And we believe that our plan is going to put us in a place where we can do 1,000 doses a day at the I-20 campus. So we're just going to be able to vaccinate more people. We're also in a partnership working closely with Forney ISD and their nursing staff. They've been great. They've set up a drive-through site over in Forney using the county's registration, and we are the provider for them also. So if you pay attention to the state site and you see big numbers coming into the Terrell Fire Department, but you're not seeing that number being vaccinated at the drive-through site, that's the reason. We're partnering with Forney ISD so that we can get more people vaccinated in the county. The next slide just talks about the Kaufman County data, just kind of showing you the trend. We're much better off than we were a few months ago, and we're going to continue to see that improve. Then the last slide is the Trauma Service Region 3, Region E, which shows that we have more than 7 days below 15%. So that's great news. It rolls back the governor's order, which I guess we'll talk about that again here in just a second. But that's the COVID update for right now. We're happy with the drive-through site. the county and Thorny ISD and us, we've made a pretty good team out of this and are really putting our best foot forward. So thank you to everybody that's helped us out.
So Mayor and Council, I'll just jump in here and give you a short note on the governor's order. It's very broad, very sweeping, affects every county in the state of Texas. It does substantially change the rules that we're going to operate under starting next Wednesday. What we're looking at now is that there are a handful of counties that will be judged as over that 15% threshold, but and those county judges will then have responsibilities they don't have now. They will be able to issue things and set rules outside of those counties, and we're not one of those. We're below that threshold, as Dustin just mentioned. Because we're below that threshold, we really will be just simply deferring to the governor's rule book. What that necessitates for you guys from a housekeeping standpoint is that we will need to have an action item next Tuesday related to our disaster declaration resolution. We've already done a little bit of work on that. We do need to pass essentially a different version of it that is primarily focused on putting in place the governor's rules here, because he does still have some rules that are left, and we'll want to translate those down to our jurisdiction. And then we'll also be updating, and I really do need to do this, we need to update things related to city facilities and city operations. So for example, if we don't do an update next week, then we'll have pool issues, we'll have library issues, that sort of thing. So we've got some housekeeping to do, and we'll be addressing all of that next Tuesday evening. So Mayor and Council, if you've got any questions for Dustin, he can take those. If you have any questions for me, I can take some, and we'd be happy to let you take over now, Mayor, on COVID issues.
Thank you. Dustin, encouraged that we continue to increase our vaccination amounts. I'm also encouraged that we're working with our partners throughout the county to better benefit the citizens of the county. It's an effort by all to make things better on this COVID-19 disaster that none of us predicted, but we're dealing with, and y'all are doing an outstanding job moving forward, and I appreciate your hard work on it. Does any of the council have any comments?
Yeah, but, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dustin, are you seeking volunteers? Is the county seeking volunteers due to the increase of vaccines and extension or reshift of the hubs locations?
We would always take volunteers. We've had a lot of volunteers, and we've been happy to have them. They help more than you can imagine with just kind of the operation of the site. Kaufman County is the best avenue to do that. They're kind of coordinating the volunteers for us. So I can get you that contact information on where they go to register to volunteer.
Sure, and the last thing I would say is that from the time that the hub was open at the Health Science Center, even through later today, those individuals that have reached out to share their experiences when taking their vaccine have mentioned it has been quick and easy, in and out sometimes in 30 minutes, even 15 minutes. I heard today at the drive-through vaccination site. So they are all, I've heard only positive feedback from the way that the vaccine distribution has been run.
Thank you.
Charles?
I'll pass that on to the briefing tomorrow.
Charles?
You know, it took the state months to say we've got to wear a mask. And now, because of political stuff, we don't have to wear a mask. It's irresponsible of the state government, and we know as a municipality that we can't make people wear a mask. The people that were wearing masks And there were some that being required, they wore the mask, being good citizens. But all those people are going to quit wearing them. They may have had the vaccines or may not have had the vaccines. We're increasing the vaccination amount, but, we're just, decreasing and doing away with everything else. So, I don't expect a whole lot from the state government anyway, but when you finally get something in place, they should have left it in place for a while.
Okay. Next, anyone else? Thank you, Charles.
Mayor and Council, I'd just let you know, our primary public information on this, and I'll say this partly because the Terrell Tribune's here, our primary public information right now is one simple little thing. Our primary group of citizens who need to get vaccinated are elderly folks with health problems. And that's exactly the group of people who have a hard time accessing things through the internet. The best thing an individual citizen can do right now, and I know that each of the council people up here have done this. I've seen everybody here has told me a story about how they've personally done this. And I'm going to tell you, it is the most important thing to do. Find your elderly relative, your elderly friend, your elderly person who lives down the street that you don't know very well, but you're pretty sure they're horrible at the internet. Go find yourself somebody you can buddy up with and you can help take through the registration process. If you can sit down with somebody for 5 minutes and get them registered on your phone or whatever it takes for you, helping somebody get registered, getting the email from the county, and then saying, hey, I got the email from the county, and I'm going to come down, I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to drive you over there. That is something we are absolutely desperate for. We in government can't necessarily reach out and grab everybody who can't access the internet. We've had some good drive-through registration, we've had some good walk-up registration, we've had registration at the library. Anybody listening today or anybody, reading about it in the Terrell Tribune, please help someone else who has bad internet access or bad internet skills, whatever it might be. Go help somebody register, because those are the folks that we're really missing right now, and we just absolutely would love to get folks like that registered.
So, Mike, to your point, what we need is neighbors helping neighbors. We need that to continue. It's always been the case here in Terrell where we've come together. We need to continue to do so, work harder. If you have a family member, like Mike has said, and/or a neighbor that needs some assistance or help, please reach out to them. Show them what living in Terrell is about, and we can move forward with this thing. Our next item on the agenda is discuss March City Council meeting schedule. That's the March 2021 calendar. This is Don. Stop.
Yes, Mayor and Council, in your packet is the council meeting calendar for March 2021. We'll have a workshop on March 9th, a regular city council meeting and workshop on the 16th, and a joint meeting between the Terrell ISD, the Terrell Economic Development Corporation, and City Council on, it's actually at 6 p.m. I have 5:30 on there, but it's 6. And that will be held at Trinity Valley Community College Health Science Center, and we will have a workshop on March 30th.
So, just want to make it a point to remind the council of the joint meeting that's scheduled on the 23rd with the school district, the EDC group, the chamber, ourselves. Is there someone else going to be there, Mike? Does that cover everybody?
It's not a joint meeting including the Trinity Valley Community College Board of Directors. However, we do have a representative from Trinity Valley Community College joining us because we have a workforce theme there. Obviously, you now have this opportunity in the city of Terrell to go get a bachelor's degree in the city of Terrell at the Health Science Center through Trinity Valley Community College. So since they're such an integral partner, their board's not coming, but they'll have a representative there.
So the purpose of the meeting, again, is to keep the communication channels open with all of the entities involved and assure that we all know the direction we're all moving forward. And the last one was very successful, in my opinion. Gave us some good insight as to what everyone's doing and how we can be a better partner moving forward. Mike, did you have anything else on that? All right. Our next item on the agenda is discuss bank depository services. Requesting for proposal, that's going to be our housing, our finance director, Jamarcus Ayers. Is he with us? There you go. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Jay.
Good evening, council. Solicited for proposals for the bank depository agreement. And we received two, one from American National Bank and the other from Texas Trust. We did some analytics on banking service fees, and we also took into account some other factors in deciding between the two. After reviewing all the information presented from both banks, we American National Bank was best suited for handling the bank depository agreement moving forward in the next 4 to 5 years. Right now we're discussing this, but we plan on bringing an agreement with American National Bank for the bank depository agreement for 2024. And with an additional year of optional service.
So, Mayor and Council, I think Jay broke up a little bit there. Just to clarify, tonight, what you've got in your packet are the two proposals, one from American National Bank, one from Texas Bank and Trust. Jay, along with our internal auditor, Frank Hinton, reviewed those and determined that the one staff will recommend is the one with American National Bank. We're with them now, and they had the better proposal as we judged proposals, and we wish to continue our relationship with them. The opportunity now will be for Jay to work through the process of creating a new depository agreement with American National Bank, and he'll be coming forward at a future city council meeting to ask for your approval on that. But we want to be clear and transparent and show you the full submittals. So we'd be happy to take questions on those tonight, or if you want to spend more time looking at them, we can certainly answer questions in the days and weeks coming forward.
Jay, thank you for your the information on both of the proposals that were submitted. Council, I would ask that you review those. If you have any questions, please reach out to Jay. Thank you, Jay. Our next item on the agenda is to discuss monthly financial report. Again, Jay Ayers.
Okay. Council, well, I'll be presenting the January 2021 financial report. Let's see. Okay. Just to start off, the general fund, most of the revenue that we received in January 2021 was property taxes. If you look at the trends, you all know that a majority of our property tax revenue is received, in January, February, and March months. So that's pretty usual. Sales tax is doing pretty good, and for investments, investments are not doing so well as far as accrued interest from investments, but we are also still looking into other investment opportunities currently. If you look at page 39 of your financial report, you'll see that property taxes make up $3 million, $4.5 million revenue for January 2021. Behind that is city sales tax, and which brings us to a total revenue of $4.59 million for January 2021. Right now, we've received $2.8 million of our $2 million budget revenue, and as far as expenditures, we expended $2.5 million in January 2021, and, well, 2.5, and then, year to date, which brings us out a net $1.7 million for the fiscal year so far, including 2021. And if you look at the next page, the budgeted revenue for the next round, below that gives you the breakdown where 66% and the revenue was property taxes, 24% was tax, and everything else beyond those. The next page, pretty much get a breakdown for each department, the budget amount. And there's a slight change to the grant, that you normally see in the past financial reports, but in red, the red bar is the budget amount, and the blue bar is what's expended so far. So it gives you at the end of January.
Jay, let me stop you. You're cutting out. Maybe Mike needs to give this presentation. Mike, can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we are, I can't, I'm sure the council's having
Yeah.
difficulty in keeping up, so.
Mayor and Council, I'm going to take it over to page 42, and so Jay and I go through these together, so I can limp along, and if you've got more detailed questions than I can answer, we'll just get Jay to get you an answer. Page 42 is your sales tax summary. I think what's interesting here is that if you look at the line item that says budget difference, there's very little difference between what we received in January of 1.1 million and the amount we estimated in the budget of about 1.063. So that's great. That's a fairly on-target sales tax report for us in this month. The next page is the property tax version of it. Jay talked about this, but just to clarify, getting $3 million in during January sounds like a big number, but remember, it's really just January, February that almost all of our property tax money comes in. And so we're just seeing that in this report. I'm going to call that page very standard. The next page is our utility fund. As you can see here, we've had about $5.4 million worth of revenue in the water and sewer utility fund, and we've had about $5.5 million worth of expenditures. So kind of right on target where we might have thought we would be, a little bit light on revenue, but that's just one of those seasonal variation things. I'm not going to get too terribly concerned about being just a little bit off there, and we'll of course continue to watch that and monitor that as time goes by. Everybody always looks at the largest expense number on there, and your eye can immediately go to, okay, we spent $5.5 million in the utility fund this time around, and $1.4 million of that was purchasing water from North Texas Municipal Water District. That gives you kind of a size of that portion of our budget and how much we do spend acquiring water from North Texas Municipal Water District. The next couple of pages are the pie charts that summarize all of that. It's always good to remind yourself what a break is between the metered water, that's our retail customers, wholesale water on here, that's water that we're selling to Poetry, Elmo, and so on down the line, and then the sewer revenue there as well, making up 34%. So the next page is just the bar graph. Jay's been inserting these bar graphs for the visual among us, so we can kind of see, okay, the blue line showing us our actual spending so far this year. The red is showing us our budgeted dollar amount. And so if you're visual, you probably like page 46. Page 47 is another chart related to the water revenue. I'm not going to go through that one or the next one. That next one is the sewer revenue item. Page 49 is Mike McKeska and Steve Rogers' favorite page. It's the Utility Capital Reserve Fund, and it shows the monies we're spending on major capital projects.
You can see very many of those hadn't really started during this period yet, and it's really as we get into January, February, and the summer months that we end up spending most of the money under this program. And so you can see not a lot of spending thus far under this program. Stormwater Utility is next, more spending there. Those are our small-scale projects. Glenn's been out doing stormwater maintenance, contract street sweeping. You can see those dollar amounts. Steve did complete a lot of work on that Skyline Airport drainage. Some of that was last fiscal year. Some of that's wrapping up this fiscal year. So you can see your numbers on your stormwater utility on page 50. Pages 51 is a summary, again, bar chart format of that same thing. Spending's going just fine under agenda item page 52. The revenues under equipment replacement fund are all by formula. And so general fund, utility fund, airport, that sort of thing, they all pay in set dollar amounts over the course of the year, and we make those as regular monthly transfers. It's the spending that Glenn is managing on a day-to-day basis, and you can see there our lease number has gotten bigger over the years. I'm happy with that because that means that we have better vehicles to operate, and that means that our maintenance and repair dollar amounts have been able to go down as years have gone on. Capital Improvement Fund, doing well there. You can see some big spending thus far this year on deferred park maintenance, $431,000 so far during this fiscal year. That's spending out those obligations that you guys did on the park system. Safe routes to school, anybody who's been down South Rockwall recently will recognize that large project, so we're very happy with that spending. We had originally thought that more of that would get built during FY20, and so you can see our budget number for that's a little bit low, but there'll be some reimbursements coming from the state of Texas, and you can see that up in that revenue line item. So I'll move on from there to Information Technology Fund. Becca's in the audience. She's managing this like a hawk. We're really appreciative of that. I won't go through that in any detail right now. Page 55 is your Park and Downtown Improvement Corporation. Revenues coming there as expected. Kind of a good thing to notice on a lot of these sheets. You've got 1/3 of the year has gone on, and you can see here there's 2/3 of the revenue less remaining to come in. So that means we're right on target with our financial projections there in the Paddock board. The investment page is where we're wrapping this thing up. Again, Jay mentioned this. It might have been hard to hear him. With as many pressures as there have been in the first 4 months of this year to keep interest rates low, it just gets flat out reflected in everything we've got here. So even though we're in the investment pools down in Austin, and we've got that money safe and sound in investments rather than in local bank, those funds are ones which are very difficult for us to increase because it's the nature of the investment funds to only return a little bit when interest rates are low. J&R are looking at some alternative investment mechanisms there. Nothing risky, but different pools that may offer a little bit better return, and we'll be analyzing that over the next few months to see if we need to make a change. So that's my version of presenting due to Jay's technical problems. Happy to take any questions.
We're going to need to figure out a way where, when it comes to financial issues, that the council is briefed in a way that everyone is comfortable. I think we can do a better job. I've reviewed the numbers, but really we need someone here, if possible, to go over the numbers and answer questions of our council members. We owe it to them to do that, Mike. So recognize we've had some issues. I hope we can resolve those. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Our next item on the agenda is business. It's 10.1, discuss and consider resolution number 1014, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving and authorizing publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation. This is resolution number 1014. Mr. Sands.
So, Mayor and Council, on Resolution 1014, that is our item we discussed last week. We are looking here to borrow a little over $6.5 million. The budgeted items contained here are our water meter system. We are embarking here soon on replacing every single water meter in the city of Terrell. So this includes about $3.5 million of borrowing for that. Another major project here is the element of police and fire department radio equipment, some police electronics and information technology equipment for them to do some good surveillance work for us. So that's about $1 million between those items. And then there's about $2 million here for an item that we did not talk about during the budget time, but we really felt like responding to our robotics report and our street assessment told us that we needed to do more to get caught up there. And as you heard tonight, not uncommon at all for us to have a speaker who might come forward and say they've got a roadway or a street concern for us. So as we analyzed our ability to borrow, we felt like we had enough room in coming year's budgets for this to be a borrowing that included $2 million additional dollars for roadway street improvements. Those are for city streets only, and those are a collection of asphalt streets that will be working with our robotics report to make some selections there. So we're very proud to add that to this already contemplated borrowing. That took the number up from $4.5 million to $6.5 million, but we're confident that that's a manageable budget number. The financial advisor we have, I believe Jason Hughes is on the line, one of our mystery callers. I think I've probably got about 1 minute left with Jason if he's still out there, because I know he's got another commitment with another city council. But anyhow, that is what Resolution 1014 is all about. Essentially, we're setting dates for that intention to issue certificates of obligation, and that allows us to move forward and actually do the borrowing on May the 4th.
Jason, are you on the line?
I think he's dropped off.
All right.
He did drop it.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments? This is something that we reviewed in, was it last week? Yeah, last week we looked at the numbers and saw where the money that was being borrowed is going to go to. Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, this is a discuss and consider. This is for resolution number 1014. Is there a motion?
Mayor, make a motion that we approve Resolution 1014.
We have a motion from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem District 5. Is there a second?
Mayor, I second.
Have a second from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 3. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. The next item on the agenda is discuss and consider dump truck lease. I'm going to make a motion to table item number 10.2. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second from Charles Whitaker, District 4. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. Our next item on the agenda is discuss National Incident-Based Reporting System, the NIBRS report. This is Mr. Sims.
So Mayor and Council, our information reports are just pure data that we provide for you, so you'll have in your packet your data. Your police department provides 11.1. That's the one related to your police department data, how they did this month and what calls for service were all about. The next one, 11.2, is your Terrell Fire Department report. That's the one that states here is discuss Terrell Fire Department incident report. You can see on there their numbers of hazardous calls, service calls, false alarms, all that sort of good stuff. We want you to see on a regular basis the data generated by our police and fire. They keep up with this on a regular basis. No reason not for us to be giving this to you. So again, this is more of a read it, soak it in. If you've got questions, just send us your follow-up questions and we'll get you answers to any follow-up question you might have.
Does anyone have any comments or questions about this item? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 12.2, discuss fire department incident report. Did you cover the same one?
we did that.
We did both, so, all right. There's no further business. At this time, we're going to adjourn into executive session in accordance with Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following. Section 551.072, deliberations regarding real property. Section 551.087, deliberations regarding economic development. We are now in executive sessions, and only those council members and those addressing the council should be in session. Consider action, if any, on items discussed